Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Health Begins with Mom podcast. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. Before I begin, I want to remind everybody that the show notes from today's episode can be found over at healthbeginswithmom.com/EP-34. So today's episode is actually part 2 from episode number 32, where I talk about how when you're living in alignment with the cyclical nature of your menstrual cycle with how you eat, exercise, and socialize, you are stepping into your greatness and reaping the benefits of living in accordance with the body's natural flow and embodying womanhood fully. This way of living allows you to move through your life in a gentler way, where you are not as harsh with yourself as so many of us are. And I think we all know what I mean by that, right? As women and mothers, we feel guilty all the time and about everything. We shoot ourselves all day long. We should have done that, said that, bought that, or didn't buy that, went there, stayed home. And this list just goes on and on and on. And today I'm going to teach you how to live in alignment with your cyclical nature, how to capitalize on the different stages of each phase, and how, as a result, you can be kinder and gentler to yourself throughout your days, weeks, months, and years. By the way, I learned this system from Kate Northrup. So if you're interested in more about this, you should definitely check her out. She talks about sustainable success in motherhood and how to have more by doing less. And she does that in relation to business specifically. So in part 1 of episode 32, I talked about how our menstrual cycle is our base point for everything, and how our food, exercise, and the way we socialize should also change during each phase of the cycle. So if, by the way, you didn't listen to it, please go back and listen. And you can find this training over at my website, like I mentioned, healthbeginswithmom.com/EP-32. So today I'm going to talk about the last piece, which is how we should change and adapt not only how we eat, exercise, and socialize, but also how we work, study, and just in general move through our days. This is super important to know and understand because we are human beings living on planet Earth in a body that is connected to nature. Knowing this gives you the power to say yes or no to things at the right time, because this is what is right for you. This gives you the feeling that you have control over your life, so that you are able to be proactive about the things that matter to you, as opposed to being reactive to other people's schedules, your never-ending to-do list, your kids' activities, spending time with people you love, etc., etc. I hear women, and especially moms, complaining a lot about the fact that they're feeling completely exhausted and depleted. They're feeling that they're unorganized. They're feeling like they're having issues with managing their time. And all of this begins with understanding that there are 4 phases to each and every new thing that you are beginning to birth and bring into your life. So you have to understand that you are the queen and you get to design your life in accordance with this system. When you master this, you will feel like you're ruling the world, literally. So there are 4 phases to anything you do or create, whether it is a project you're working on at work, organizing a birthday party for your child, or literally giving birth. So we all move through these 4 phases, which are also known as the 4 cycles of success. And they are visibility, culmination, the fertile void, and emergence. So let's talk about each one, and we're going to start with visibility. So visibility, this phase has the energy of the full moon. It has the energy of the summer, of ovulation, which is your peak fertility, has the energy of rebirth and receptivity. This is when things can be brought into manifestation. This is when you are allowing yourself to be seen, heard, and present. If you think of yourself as a flower, then this is the time to blossom. Now, in a framework of a day, this would start at about 7 a.m. and go until 11 a.m., which is when the sun is already high in the sky and your day has officially begun. Everyone is waking up, you're packing kids' lunches, backpacks are all set, hair is being brushed, and everyone is rushing out the door. It is a new day. So in the framework of a week, this would be early to midweek, about Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, which is when you are well into the week, into a project, into whatever you're working on that particular week, be it at work or at school, whatever. In terms of your monthly cycle, this would also be the time of ovulation. And this is when you are most fertile and your hormones are all geared toward accepting a sperm and create life. Whether if you're planning on getting pregnant or not, you should use this energy of the month to bring something you are working on to life. This is a great time to spread the word about what you're working on, to press send, to publish, to launch. This is a great time to start new things. This is also when you might feel most chatty and most magnetic. So it's a great time to socialize, go out on dates, play with the kids, go out with your girlfriends, do sale calls and actually sell. You'll notice that this is when people will tell you that you look really good, and this is because biologically you are super fertile, which is needed in order to attract a mate, right? So capitalize on this energy. Since this is when you are most fertile, again, whether if you're planning on getting pregnant or not, this is the time of the month to also have lots of sex. So make this day of the month special, luscious, and magnetic. Have fun. Since you have lots of energy during this time of the month, enjoy dancing, bouncing off the walls, singing, and wear something that makes you feel good. And please note that there is a difference between wearing something that makes you look sexy and something that makes you feel sexy. So something to think about. So we spoke about this energy that happens daily at about 7 a.m., weekly at about midweek, and monthly it occurs once a month on the day of your ovulation. And in a context of a year, this would be the time of summer. It would also be the longest day of the year during the summer solstice. So stay outside as long as you can in order to honor the energy of visibility as much as possible. All right. Now we're moving into the second phase, which is the phase of culmination. So if visibility has the energy of starting new things, the energy of culmination is bringing things into completion. And this is important, especially for those of us who like to start new things but never finish them. The energy of this time in a day, week, month, and in a year is all geared toward culminating something you've worked on during visibility. So just to give you an example, and since we're all moms here, let's say that during visibility you were researching about a swim school for your kids, right? Like a silly example, but let's just go with it. So you asked friends, you made phone calls, you've seen a few schools, and now it's time to take action. Choose a school and make the payment. This is what I mean by culminating something, bringing it to an end, instead of leaving something hanging in the air forever. So incomplete tasks, projects, to-dos are huge energy leaks which you want to eliminate as much as possible from your life. So this is why it is important to say no to most things, and especially if they are not aligned with your life's vision and purpose. And more on that in a later episode. A week, this would be the time of almost end of the week, starting at Thursday and ending on Friday night. And in terms of your menstrual cycle, culmination would occur during the luteal phase, which biologically is designed to be longer than ovulation, which is a great signal and reminder from the universe that it takes much more time to complete something than start it. There are times for new beginnings, but now is not for that. This is when you will have the extra energy you need to complete, finish, and culminate things. Whether it is a friendship you are weaning down, weaning your baby off of a pacifier or a boob, or sleep training your baby, this is time to GSD, which stands for getting SHIT done. I don't want to use the word. This is when you should track your menstrual cycle and use the energy of the luteal phase to complete projects. If you are not menstruating, align yourself with the lunar cycle and use the energy of the waning moon to wrap things up. I love this quote by Kate Northrup. It goes like this: when you honor the gifts of the phase of creation you're in, you get a lot more done in a lot less time. So looking at a year, this would be the time of fall, when leaves are falling and the earth is getting ready to go inward for winter. All right, so this is the second phase, the phase of culmination. Now let's talk about the third phase. It's called the fertile void. And I love this expression because it embodies the polarity of two forces that seem to not have anything to do with one another. So on the one hand, it is void, empty, as though nothing is happening. And on the other hand, it is fertile. And how can that be? So let's see what's going on here. The energy during this time of the day, week, month, and year pertains to rest, pausing, replenishing, and taking a breath. This is one of the most important phases of creation, as this is actually when it all starts. This is the time to reevaluate, recenter, and refocus. In terms of a day, this is the time when you are asleep, when your body's energy is being replenished and your mind is quiet. This is why you keep hearing that sleep is so crucial, as you cannot function without it, literally. And as mothers, so many of us are sleep deprived, and I believe that for a period of time, we sort of lose our sense of security and safety because of this loss of sleep, because we lose what is supposed to ground us for the whole day, week, month, and a year, depending how long you're sleep deprived. In terms of a week, this would be on Saturday. So we all know what the Bible says about the seventh day of the week, right? Which is the day of rest. You're not supposed to work, do any quote-unquote productive activities on that day. Only rest. Spend the time with your family, your kids, play board games, and just give yourself permission to slow down and lay fallow. It's the same energy as the season of winter, the new moon, and the time of the month when we bleed, aka our menstrual cycle. And I love this quote by Kate Northrup again. She goes like this: deep, true creativity doesn't emerge despite the deep pause. It emerges because of it. And I think in order to thrive in our lives, we need to learn how to pause, how to sit in silence, how to quiet our minds, stop the chatter, and tune into what matters. This is where the feeling of grounding is coming from. And this is so important, especially if you're feeling like you're being this rat in a wheel, constantly on a go, 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 go. Super important to embrace the energy of the fertile void. All right, so let's move into the fourth phase, which is the phase of emergence. This phase is the beginning of anything. The energy of the spring, where everything is just beginning to bloom. You see tiny buds coming out from the branches of the trees, and you can smell renewal and newness in the air. Looking at a day, emergence would be early in the morning, right before the sun is rising, when your body will be moving a lot as to signify that you've had enough to sleep. It's time to wake up. This is also the energy of Sunday, where the week starts anew and we get to start all over again. And this is the time to plant seeds and get started. If you're like me, this time in the cycle of creation would feel really good. since it is much easier to start something rather than finishing it. And remember, to finish something, you need the energy of culmination. So in order to thrive in your life, it is important to embrace the energy of culmination and also the fertile void in order to complete what you set your attention to without burning yourself out. Okay, so as an example, let's say that you want to plan a way overdue date night with your husband. So this would be the time you'd use Google a lot. You'll research, have ideas, it will start flowing to you easily. And in order to get the most out of this phase, make sure to put your ideas on paper so you don't feel scattered and all over the place. Emergence has the same energy as the follicular phase of your period, which is the 5 days or so after you bleed. If you really want to thrive, then it is super important to embrace whichever phase you're currently at and move through the cycle with grace, self-compassion, and being reasonable, kind, and thoughtful towards yourself. You cannot and should not do everything at once and everything all at the same time. It takes time to create, to birth, and to complete. It is time to let go of perfection and a desire to do everything, to do everything yourself. Life doesn't work this way. So I want you to be gentle with yourself and embrace good enoughness into your life. So that's it. These are the 4 phases of birthing or creating anything you desire into your life. Now you may be asking yourself, where does it all start? Which phase of creation is the beginning? And the answer to that is that there is no beginning and there is no end to a cycle. It constantly flows. It constantly moves through the phases until one day it no longer exists in your reality, which from the perspective of the human experience would mean death or transitioning from this world into a new realm of being. So I want you to know that you are literally a magnet for creating and manifesting things into your life. Master this and you will soar in your womanhood, mothering, work, and relationships. I hope this was super helpful and insightful for you. And now I want to hear from you. Which phase are you at right now in your life? In terms of motherhood, your marriage, your womanhood, and what are the steps that you're going to take in order to get the best of where you're at right now. So I want you to find me on Facebook and message me. I go under Dorit Palvanov, and you're also welcome to join my closed Facebook group where we talk about this kind of stuff and much more. So the Facebook group is called Busy Moms Get Healthy. All right, guys, I'll catch you next time. Bye for now. For listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love this show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.